The Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Bet $100 and get $100 at wynnbet.com or download the WynnBET app and start winning today. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast's Final Four Watch Party. This Saturday, sweat out your bets and win prizes with Ryan, Sean and Colby over on youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Plus, make sure to fill out our listener survey for a chance to win a $100 SGP and gift card. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survey. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, March the 30th, and we are here, thankfully, and I think Barry will back me up here, to handicap a full slate of Premier League games for the weekend. Premier League is back. So I'll just give him a little name check there. I think if you've got some new equipment there, Baz, how are you doing?
I've got a new set of headphones. It's just I bought it purely for gaming purposes. I've been playing a bit of Call of Duty on the Xbox, and I needed a new set of cans for the ears, and it's wireless and all that. So I thought I'll use it for this.
Mate, you're coming through clear as a bell, Baz. 2020 vision, surround sound, Dolby HD, and other such old-fashioned terms. Yeah, very good.
Pleased to see the back of this international weekend.
I thought you would be.
Absolutely delighted to have Premier League football back. And, I mean, this weekend's fixtures, it's one of the best. It's hard from a handicapping point of view, I think. Really,
it was hard, yeah.
But some really, really good games to look forward to, I think, which we'll obviously get to in a bit. But I think there's plenty to get stuck into. A lot of the games with teams, a lot of teams with lots to play for still, but lots of games with teams in and around the same areas playing each other and stuff. So some good stuff to get into, but yeah, very hard.
Yeah, well, when I made my notes, I'm into a new Jota tonight, Baz. This could be the lucky Jota. Another brand new Jota. This is how many Jotas I've got on the go here, Baz. This is great audio for anyone not listening. Look, consecutive. 6. Yeah, I've got a little purple one. All of those. I mean, I
watched you on the main sports gambling podcast the other day.
All right, yeah.
You are getting a bit of grief for the Jotas, aren't you?
For my old-fashioned, yeah. They're all sitting there with spreadsheets and shit like that. And I'm sitting here, old school, like with a ledger. It's MLB opening day today, so my other hat is the host of the MLB Gambling Podcast. And honestly, today, at this baseball, I'd be better off working down a mine, Baz. I mean, I know it's a bit of a first world problem, but it's been absolutely relentless. I had to take about 7 hours to set 9 different fantasy lineups, to set my DraftKings lineup, then to make the picks, then put all the picks in tally site. You're trying to catch up with Moonaf and all the boys, getting the Discord channel, and then you've actually got to try and watch some as well to try and work out what's going on. Honestly, relentless. And then I think the Premier League now, Baz, we've got 10 games left for some teams, 10, 11, 12 games left. So we've kind of, that little international break is just taking us into the home straight now, and it's a charge for the finish line. We've got Arsenal and Man City going for it. You've then got Manchester United down to probably Brentford down in 8th, going for the Champions League places, and then you've got a proper bum fight for relegation. Crystal Palace in 12th with 27 points, down to Southampton in 20th with 23 points. So you could throw a blanket over those teams all the way down there. 9 teams involved in that. And it's absolutely go time. So now's the time, Baz. Things are looking up. The new Jota, I think, could be the key to us picking loads of winners between now and the end of the season. A little recap of what happened this week then. I can't even... It feels like forever ago. What day is it today? Thursday. Doesn't it?
I don't know what we covered this week. It's been absolutely weird. I
picked some winners, Baz. I mean, I went 2 out of 3. I picked 3. picked 3 international games. I went 2 for 3. So I think I'm claiming 5.5 out of 7 over the 2 shows that we did the international. Georgia, double chance. Wasn't a fancy price, but Georgia did all right, actually. That shafted you a little bit because you put Norway and everything. I took Croatia to win, which was a good pick. Happy with that. That was a great price. But then Spain proceeded directly onto the shit list. It looks like they picked the team out of a hat, Baz. I wasn't really sure what was going on when I saw the lineups. It's like that bloke, like, just put all Spanish footballers in a hat. We'll pick 11 out and we'll go and see if they can beat Scotland. Scott McTominay turned into prime Dixie Dean for a couple of weeks, scored 2 against Cyprus at the weekend, scored 2 more against Spain. No idea what Spain were doing. And then what made it even funnier was they came out and whinged about it. Rodri said Scotland played horrible football and time wasted. Someone else said the grass was too long. I mean, there's no better than when you shove it up those fancy dance. So yeah, well done to Scotland. Happy with that. But that was a loser for me, and we had them in most of our parlays as well. Yours was a bit of a struggle down the lower leagues, Baz, but I think you finished strong. We were a bit of a shit sandwich, but you got out of it with a win on Wednesday.
Yeah, we made 4 picks. I mean, the disappointing one was Barnsley. I fancied the goals in that one. Went with Barnsley goals, and in hindsight, kicking myself a little bit because I did say I thought Exeter were playing well, would make a bit of a fight of it, but I thought Barnsley would then need the goals to win the game, and they'd get them. Had we have laddered the total goals, you got up to 3.5 and a decent price, so that wasn't any good. Can't even think what we had. Walsall, Wimbledon. I went for the draw. There's been a long history of draws in games for both of those teams. That didn't come in. But on the plus side, we had we faded Chef Wed. Despite the fact Chef Wed had been on this massive unbeaten run recently, they'd shown signs of wobbling. And I said away from home at 4-6, you just couldn't back Chef Wed at that price, and that turned out to be the case. They were 2-0 down. Came back late on and drew 2-2, but we took Cheltenham on the double chance market. I can't off the top of my head tell you what the other game was. I picked another winner.
I've got it all written down. I'm going to have to throw through one of your jotters though, Baz.
Yeah, I bet you will. What did we have?
Come on, you can do it. Right, I can do it. Let's have a look. Captain Insano's in the chat. Can you not remember? Come on, Captain. This is why we pay you. Cheltenham, Walsall, Crawley, Grimsby, under 2.5.
Yeah, under 2.5, Crawley, Grimsby. Yeah, I think it went 0-0 all the way through to about an hour in. There was a late one, made it 2-0 and gave me a little bit of a sweat on that one. But that was a winner. So 2 from 4, plus money on the Sheffield one, just under even money on the other. So probably a break even for me. Parlay, I mean, it was a begrudging parlay. I didn't want anything to do with this international football this week.
We forced you into betting, Baz. You were
forced into picking things. I picked France in the handicap. I picked Norway. I picked Spain. Just absolute shite. But I made it quite clear before I picked that I had no interest in this international slate. So if anyone followed that, then you're not listening.
It was really, really hard work. You see, your fancy computer, Baz, wouldn't have remembered Crawley versus Grimsby, would it? Got to rely on my hard copy. Is it though? Well, you see, I had it to hand, ready in the ledger, Baz. In the ledger, yeah. So, yeah, we can get back to some proper football now. You can.
Before we move on to football,
yes,
a highlight from today, Malcolm. On
shit! This was a highlight. Yeah, I managed to get 5 minutes out of my busy day to laugh my cap off at this. Go on, tell the people what happened.
I hope he's listening. One of our listeners, who I don't think we've had any interaction with before, tagged us in a tweet today. So it was Chips Ahoy 337 on Twitter. Tagged us in a clip. It was a clip of a sitcom called Early Doors. And it was this old bloke with his head under a towel and he lifts it up. And he's feeling ill. He's like death warmed up, full of ill with a cold. And his wife turns around and says, "Do you want me to make you some chopped up egg in a cup?" and the guy turns around. He's like, "Chopped up egg in a cup? Why do you always offer that when I'm ill?" She went, "It's a cure. It worked for my mum. It worked for her mum." But the clip, and it was great that somebody spotted that and thought of us and shared it out. So cheers for that. Chips ahoy. But yeah, if you haven't seen
that
the
was
clip,
funny.
you should get over to our Twitter at SGPN Premier and have a look at it because we have retweeted it out. And it just made me laugh. I was sat in the office today and I seen that and I sort of put my phone in my ear to listen to it and then started laughing and realised I needed to move away from my desk because it was a bit unprofessional.
Yeah, that was funny. I've never really watched Early Doors before, but I think I've probably seen about 5 little clips of it, and every time it looks right on my street because it's quite northern, isn't it? It looks very northern, and it's quite gentle and old-fashioned, and it looks like the sort of thing I would get involved with. And if that clip was anything to go by, because just the bloke's general patter was very funny. Like he absolutely he gave his missus loads of stick. Baz has disappeared again. He doesn't want to start this.
Yeah.
Oh no, he hasn't. He's back. You're freezing up again there, Baz. After the gremlins from the other night.
I was just sitting.
It's all right. You're back. Oh, were you sitting still?
I didn't go anywhere.
He was sitting still, being quiet. What a good boy.
I'm still handicapping the Everton Spurs game. I was looking at me.
Oh, okay. He's handicapping on the fly. I'll tell you what. I'll do this ad read, Baz. Give you another 30 to 40 seconds to get that Everton Spurs game.
That time.
Yeah, Everton are going to win, by the way. WinBet is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is now active in Massachusetts and tons of other states. Be on the lookout for WinBet Win Hour every Thursday from 5 till 6 p.m. Eastern Time. June WinBet Win Hour marquee games of the week will have better odds on WinBet, giving you a larger payout opportunity. March Madness is here. Loads of ways to bet on the big dance. Sign up today, receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. Limited to state availability. And of course, for our DJs, if you get the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get a $1,000 free credit. Loads to choose from. Head to winbet.com or download the WinBet app. Offer subject to change. T's and C's at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you were someone who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. The Masters competition, if you're looking to hang out with Sean and Ryan at Stadium Swim, watch the biggest golf tournament in the world. You can win a 3-night stay at Circle Las Vegas to hang out with the boys. The contest is completely free. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/golf party. If you don't win the contest, you can still get a discount on a room using the promo code SGP15. And the Final Four watch party has gone virtual. You can hang out with the boys on the YouTube channel for the entire Saturday of Final Four action. Live bets, prize giveaways, and much more. Subscribe to youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast and tune in on Sunday. YouTube.com is indeed a very good place to watch all the network shows, including ours, which is what youtube.com/@Premier League Gambling Podcast, where you can get in the chat, have a bit of crack. So Saturday lunchtime is a very, very big game, Baz. Probably the biggest game of the weekend, or the Newcastle game might rival it. It's a 12:30 UK time, which is a 7:30 Eastern time. The clocks have gone back to normal, thankfully. So we're back. I can work this out. Manchester City take on Liverpool at the Etihad. Manchester City are 4-7, -175. The draw is 7-2, +350. Liverpool are 4-1. So yeah, great start of the week. We're not easing ourselves in with Crystal Palace or anyone like that. We'll bang, hit the ground running here. I think the key to the game here, like you instinctively think big game, and I think it's because of how Liverpool have been and Manchester City over the last 3 or 4 years, and you instinctively think, oh yeah, goals 3-2, 4-2. What's going to happen here? The key to the game for me, once I'd looked at all the available info, was Liverpool's away form, and it's pretty bad. They lost 1-0 at Bournemouth. 0-0 versus Palace, 3-0 defeat at Wolves. They won 2-0 at Newcastle, but I don't think they were the better team. They played most of that game against 10 men and weren't great. They picked up 12 points in 13 away games. They flash at home occasionally. They had the mad 7-0 against Manchester United. So yeah, your instinct is to take the goals. However, 3 of Man City's last 4 have been under 2.5. 5 of 6 for Liverpool have gone under 2.5 as well. It's a Saturday lunchtime game, notoriously slow burners they are. A little bit of injury news as well. Phil Foden is out for Manchester City for a little while. Doesn't really, takes the edge off them slightly, but Riyad Mahrez, they've got plenty of options who can come in and do a job. The other one is Haaland, though. Haaland missed international break. We've got a couple of players who've done this, whether or not he missed it legitimately through injury, or it was a bit of a poxy excuse and they just wanted to rest him a little bit. He's rated 50-50 officially. I'll show my arse in Phoenix window, Baz, if he doesn't play here. But I liked all those unders, and I like the price because I think the bookies' instincts deduce the over. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals here, Baz. Price of plus 120.
Right. Well, I've went with my instinct, Malcolm.
Oh, instinct.
And I've went the exact opposite of you.
Great. Helpful start for the listeners.
Yeah, I had a feeling this would happen, to be honest. I felt you would go the other way. And, well, we'll see what happens. Man City won the last one, didn't they? 3-2 in the Carabao Cup. That was the first game back after the World Cup. Really, really entertaining game, actually. Prior to that, Liverpool have had the edge in the head-to-head. So Liverpool winning the previous 3. And they're unbeaten in 5 against Man City before that cup defeat. It isn't the same Liverpool team as it has been in the last couple of years, and I think City are strong enough at home here. They've lost just once all season, and only one draw as well. Everything else at home was a win. But I just thought I'd keep it simple. I think the head-to-head between them is always full of goals. 6 of the last 7 have gone over 3.5 between these two teams, and 8 of the last 10. So it's not just a short sort of snapshot. It's gone on for a few years where there's been goals galore in these games, and I don't see it being any different. I know you've picked up a few games lately where Man City have had lower scoring games. I mean, they've kept 5 clean sheets in a row now. That seemed to happen around the time where we said Man City could never keep a clean sheet. As soon as we mentioned that, they've kept 5 of them. But Liverpool tend to be better against the bigger sides. Away from home, they haven't been great, but they have beaten Man City already this season. They've beat Man United, beat Spurs, they beat Newcastle twice. Liverpool do tend to play better and turn up in these games. Certainly this season, that's been the way. They've lost most of their points in the shitty games where they expected to walk away with it. Games like, Brighton's, Wolves, Bournemouth, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think Liverpool will contribute here, and I think over 3.5 goals. I think Man City will win it, but I'll take the over 3.5. At 13-8, I think it's fair enough. I think we'll see plenty of goals. As you say, no help at all for the listeners. But going with the instinct. Well,
we're just here to help us. We've made both sides of the argument. It's up to them now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's going to happen, don't you? It's going to finish on 3 goals.
2. Yeah.
Nobody
2-1.
wins. Nobody's a winner.
No, nobody ever wins. We move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs where there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. First up is Arsenal against Leeds. Arsenal are 3-10, minus 333. Draw 5-1. Leeds plus 750. In fact, out to 8-1 now. Leeds drifted. Little drift since I handicapped this earlier on. Bazza, can you make any case for Leeds, or how are you approaching this one? Arsenal's short at home.
Yeah, I'm not able to make a case for Leeds, I don't think. I mean, Arsenal are on a 6-game winning streak in the league now, scored 19 goals in those 6 games and really been firing in the last few outings. I mean, Leeds have improved slightly under Gracia, haven't they? They've picked up 7 points from the last 15 available, but they're still leaking goals easy enough. They've only had 1 clean sheet in the last 10 games. Last 2 games out, Wolves and Brighton both put 2 past them. And I looked at Arsenal handicap. They've won by a 2-goal or more margin 7 times this season at home. And I look at the teams they've done that against. So they've beat Palace, Everton, West Ham, Leicester, Forest, all by 2 or more. They're all teams in a very similar position to Leeds. And I just think they could follow that pattern. So I'm going for a similar outcome. I think Arsenal on the handicap is okay here, given the form they're in. Got between Arsenal minus 1.5 on the handicap is available at 4-5, so minus 125, and that's a pick for me.
Okay, down Arsenal minus 1.5 for Bazza. Yeah, you mentioned those goals, Baz. 4-3-3, 4-1-4. in the last 6 games, and they've got the best home record in the league. So yeah, it's hard to pick a hole in that, really. The key here is what can Leeds contribute to the game. They had that mad 4-2 at Wolves, a 2-2 v Bournemouth, so they're kind of back on brand to this kind of mad Bielsa Leeds. And the over 2.5 is very, very short. The bookies are on to us, but I'm happy to give Leeds a goal here, Baz. I think you could be right. 3-1 is a jumping off point, Arsenal. So yeah, both teams to score for me. 19-20, -105. Bournemouth v Fulham, 3 p.m. Bournemouth are 14-9, +155. The draw is 23-10, +230. Fulham 9-5, +180. It's close on the books. You said earlier on, Baz, that this was a tricky slate to pick, and a lot of my notes start with a word like hard or tricky or difficult. And this is one of those games. Bournemouth have been a lot more competitive lately. They say the little January signings they picked up. They've had a tough run of fixtures as well. They played Liverpool, although they've beaten them. They played Arsenal and Manchester City in 3 of the last 4 games. That 3-0 defeated Villa last time out was a proper red flag. Because that was a game really that they had to take advantage of, having come off that tricky run, and they got humped 3-0. I think Fulham are starting to regress eventually. I think they could be in for a tricky end to the season. Be interesting to see how they bounce back from unravelling, a very public unravelling against Manchester United in the FA Cup. Mitrovic, as a result, is banned, and he's a big part of what they do. It's tight. I think the draw is very, very live here, at +230. This could easily be a 1-1. But I've gone for the under 2.5 goals, but I didn't write down the price. It strikes me as it might be a little bit short. No, it's all right. 4-5. And Baz is now going to tell you exactly why this is going to go over 2.5 goals by the sounds of it.
I mean, I've wrote it down. It is a really, really difficult game. And as I say, there are lots of them here where I've really struggled. I don't think I've got many money line picks at all. I'm having to look for different ways of sort of skinning the cat here. But Bournemouth, haven't, as you say, showed some signs of improvement with wins against Wolves, Liverpool, draw against Newcastle, pushed Arsenal right to the wire, but then they went and got beaten well and truly by Villa last time out, and that sort of knocks your confidence in them a little bit. And as you say, Fulham have now hit 3 straight defeats, including the cup game against Man United. Brentford beat them. I can't remember who the other one was in the league now, but anyway, it's 3 defeats in a row. Prior to that, they were on a 7-game unbeaten streak and going well. So it could be, as I think everyone expected them to drop off at some point. And I can't pick a winner between the two. I don't know what to expect from Bournemouth at the moment. And I just thought, looking at the goals, Fulham games have gone over 2.53 of the last 4. And I think you've always got a chance with the overs in a Bournemouth game, as they've got comfortably the worst defensive record in the league. They've let in 56 goals in 27 games. With a defensive record like that, you're always giving yourself a chance. And I think the over 2.5 at evens plus 100 is the one for me. So yeah, we're on opposing sides again.
Okay, that's all right, Baz. Again, it's all good information for the people. I think we might have to ban baseball talk in the comment section, Baz, because there's far too much baseball chat going on in there at the minute. Multi-sport degens assemble. Over 2.5 goals, and for Baz. Next game, this is a good one. Brighton against Brentford. Brighton are the favourites, 4-6, -150. Draws 3-1. Brentford are 4-1. Baz, how are you seeing this one?
It is a good one, but it's another difficult one.
It really is.
Everyone I looked at, every one of these games, you just look, where do you start with it? Brighton playing well, flying a game, 4 games unbeaten, still well in the hunt for the top 4 places. But Brentford are still on the same points as them, still hanging around. They've played 2 games more. So, everyone's about Brighton still being in the race, but Brentford aren't far behind. They're also in really good form. They've only lost once in the last 12 league games since the World Cup. It's another one where I've really struggled to pick a winner. Brighton are scoring again lately. The forwards are really clicking on. They've got Mitoma, Solly March, McAllister, all chipping in with the goals. Ferguson's another one. Just seem to have loads of options at the moment. Really, really scoring well. And Brentford as well, they've only been shut out twice in the last 15 league games. So I think for me, both teams to score here. It's a little bit short. It's 3-4. But looks a good play to me. So both teams to score, Brighton v Brentford at around 3-4. You're on mute, Malcolm.
That's the first time in months I've done that, Baz. It's because I'm drinking my tea, and I always put myself on mute when I'm having a little slurp on my tea, so no one has to listen to this. You see, because that's unpleasant. And then I forgot to unmute myself. No, goals is your jumping off point for this game. Again, instinctively, you're thinking, right, where can I go around the goals? And I did the same thing for the same reasons you've just given up. I knew Captain Sino was going to call me a buffoon in the comments. They're very predictable, but also correct. They're really inconsistent in terms of results and like trends as well. They've both won 3, drawn 4, and lost 1 of the last 8 games. So it's really hard to know where to go with any of that. I ended up here, Baz. I found some nice little stats on first half goals. Over 1.5 first half goals in 44% of Brighton's games. That's quite a lot. That's nearly half, Baz. Hashtag maths, isn't it? Over 1.5 goals, Baz, in 44% of Brentford's games. That's almost nearly half, Baz. So over 1.5 first half goals is 8-5 plus 160. And both teams to score in the first half is Burlington Bertie 100-30 plus 333. So yeah, a little bit more of a maverick pick there. Some markets we don't often dip into. So over 1.5 first half goals, and I'll take both teams to score as well. A price of plus 333. I like that, Baz. I was quite pleased with myself when I dug those out. Sugar. I'm going to tell you about Underdog Fantasy now. Underdog Fantasy continue. What do they continue to do? Bring the March Madness college pick'em competition is the answer. It's a great way to get in on the action, especially if your bracket is busted. Plus, Underdog Fantasy has your favourite college basketball player props and great NBA and NHL daily games. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. They'll be absolutely buzzing that they've paid good money for that, Reed. Next up is the 3 o'clock game between Crystal Palace and Leicester City, which is a 10 a.m. kickoff time. Crystal Palace are 6-4 plus 150. The draw is 9-4 plus 225. Leicester are 19-10 plus 190. So another close one on the books, struggling to split them. You get up the little stats page here, and there's lots of red in it. There's red everywhere, Baz, because they both keep getting beat. Crystal Palace appointed a new up-and-coming manager last week in fucking 99-year-old Roy Hodgson. I mean, did we talk about this last week on the international bit? I think it's still head-scratching. He's 78 years old. I can't see a bounce. Palace are rubbish. I just can't see a new manager bounce. We often factor in a new manager bounce. I'm just not having it, Baz. I don't know what he can do any differently. I don't know. It's a really, really hard one. Leicester is struggling, but their away form is okay. They're actually about halfway up the away form table. James Maddison is fit. We mention him every week when they handicap Leicester because he's absolutely pivotal for them. Maddison got a game for England on Tuesday night. I think Leicester are good enough to win this. I think they're better than Palace, and I just don't know what Palace can do to get out this funk that they're in. Roy Hodgson might completely do something transformative, turn up and lay it on them and have them playing like Brazil. But I'm not buying it, and he shouldn't be selling it, frankly. I'll take Leicester on the money line. Leicester 19-10 plus 190, Baz.
Should have done separate podcasts tonight, Malcolm.
Oh, fucking hell. We've had 2 weeks off, Baz, and it's gone to shit. We were all in sync. We were co-menstruating a couple of weeks ago, and now
I was going to say it wasn't that long ago. There was lots of team rides, and this week it's all about. But it doesn't surprise me because, as I say, it's a really, really hard slate of games and hard to know which way to come down. And it doesn't surprise me that we've come down a different way on a few of these. I've wrote down. I think it's really hard to know how to handicap Palace here because we can look at the form and everything. 12 league games without a win, 4 defeats in a row. But the fixtures do turn a bit now. They have had a tough run of games, which I'd mentioned after Christmas. I knew they were going to come into this slump. But now they've got a load of winnable games coming up. And it's then, will Hodgson make a difference? Can he get them turned around quick enough? Who knows? But I think you have to factor in the change of management. And there might be a slight uptick. Although, I get your point. Funnily enough, I was going to talk about this a bit at the end, but I think now is probably a good time. Someone sent me something the other day about the new manager bounce and how it's an absolute myth. So
is it? Yeah.
Give a shout out to a mate of mine, Philly Blackett, who shared this in a WhatsApp group, and it was a table showing changes of manager late in the season and what effect it had. So it was any manager who was replaced in March, April, May. And the position, if you look at the position they were when they arrived and the position they were at the end of the season, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. I think there's about 20 on the list here. Of those 20, 14 of them didn't budge at all. They stayed in the exact same position as they were when they arrived. 3 of them finished one position lower, and 3 of them finished one position higher. So it just shows that these late changes late in the season, you might get a bounce for 1 or 2 games, but the overall impact of them isn't proven to be massively groundbreaking.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you're 14th in the table after 28 games, it's probably because you're the 14th best team in the league. So unless something remarkable happens, it's not going to change. Which, like you say, it's kind of the 1 game bounce. Maybe I don't know what the stats are on that. So tell Philly Blackett to get some numbers on that, Baz.
So there's a few here. I mean, there's a couple of Newcastle ones. Glenn Roeder came in with Newcastle 13th. They finished. Joe Kinnear, we were 18th. We finished 18th. But there's quite a few bottom of the league. Remy Gard came in for Aston Villa when they were bottom of the league in 2016. He didn't move them anywhere. Same with Alan Pardew at West Brom. Chris Wilder at Sheffield. When he was, I think these are outgoing managers, actually, the names I'm coming up with here. But yeah, good information there to suggest the new, changing your manager at this time guarantees you absolutely nothing. But going back to the game, I mean, Leicester's form isn't much better than Palace's. There's no win in 5. Lost 4 of those, drawn 1. And I think Palace's home form is a slight comfort for them. They've only lost 1 of the last 5, drawn 4 of them, and the 1-0 defeat came against Man City. So there's not many teams going to Palace at the moment and winning, or winning by any big margins or anything. So I'm going to take them to get something here. I'm backing the bounce. I'm taking Palace to grab a win. I think Palace will be okay. I think they have got a nice run of games. I think they'll be safe enough to stay up. It probably was the right time for a change. Whether Hodgson was the man to come in and take over is questionable. But I'll take him to get a winning start here. At 6-4, I'm going to be bold and take Palace to a bit of home comfort and beat Leicester here.
Okay, so that's definitely going to be a draw then, Baz, with me on Leicester and you on Palace. Next up is the final 3 o'clock kickoff. Nottingham Forest against Wolves. Forest 19-10 plus 190. The draw 21-10 plus 210. Wolves 30-5 plus 160. Again, you couldn't put a cigarette paper between the 3 outcomes here, Baz. So, what have you got?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about Forest's home form all season, haven't we? Said the home and away are the two different sides, but I feel like that sort of comfort blanket at home for Forest is slipping. They've only won one of the last 5, drawn 2, lost 2, won 1, and it feels like their season could be unraveling at the moment. I seen today Chris Wood is out for the season with a thigh injury just after they triggered the amount of games that meant they had to buy him from Newcastle. He's now injured and won't play for them the rest of the season. Brennan Johnson's out for the weekend. I think Aurier's a doubt, possibly Mangala. There's a few. They've got a lot of injuries around, which shouldn't really be a problem because they've got about an 85-man squad, as we know. But I thought they were very poor against us 2 weeks ago when I was there. And if they play like that, I think they'll continue to struggle from here on in. And I'm not sure that their home form is going to get them out of it if they carry on like that. That said, I mean, Wolves haven't been great either. Just 1 win in 6 for them. The win against Spurs came in the middle of 4 defeats and a draw. They've conceded 10 in the last 6, including 4 against Leeds last time out. And I've gone with a lot of goals picks tonight due to the difficulty with these games, and I'm doing exactly the same here. Wolves have only had 1 clean sheet in 7. I think Forest have to be getting something from games like this. I think they can get on the score sheet, but I just don't think they'll keep Wolves out. If I had to have a lean on the money line, I would go for Wolves at the prices. I consider the both teams to score at evens. I think it's a good price. It's hit 3 in a row in Forest games lately. But then I noticed the price for the overs. Over 2.5 is 11 to 8, and I get why it is there. But I think it's good enough for me. I think Forest have to come out and have a go at this game. They need something, and they need something quick. Just looking at the recent forms for the overs, so Forest games have hit 4 in a row over 2.5. Wolves last 2 have both gone over 2.5. So 11 to 8, decent plus money bet there. Over 2.5 goals, Forest Wolves is a play for me.
I'm absolutely stunned, Baz, you've gone over 2.5 there, because I know you were kind of out on Forest. You watched them live a couple of weeks ago and they were shite, and you've been out on Wolves for the last couple of months. This has got draw written all over it, Baz. It's got 1-1 written all over it. Forest were poor against us. They are unravelling. I don't fancy them at all. Brennan Johnson's a big miss. They're not going to score goals. I quite like Emmanuel Dennis. When Wolves kind of flattered to deceive, I thought they played all right at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. And then they had that horrible result against Leeds. But yeah, nailed on 1-1. I can't see any other outcome. So give me the draw, 21 to 10. 1-1 will be around about 5 to 1. If you fancy something a bit more exotic. The tea time game, get your crumpets out, etc., is 5:30, which is 2:30 Eastern time. Kick off between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Chelsea 4 to 6 minus 150. The draw 14 to 5 plus 280. Aston Villa 17 to 4 plus 425. Chelsea had a little mini revival. This is League Chelsea, not Champions League Chelsea. Two different things. Premier League Chelsea had a little mini revival. Stalled a little bit with that 2-2 home draw with Everton last time out, where they got in front twice, couldn't hold on to it. I don't think Chelsea are out of the woods here. I don't think that revival was a legit thing. There's still a lot of consternation at what Graham Potter's doing, and like I say, that squad is so unreliable. Aston Villa have won 3 of their last 4, and they played okay in defeats against Man City and Arsenal in the midst of all that. I think Villa are live here, Baz. Aston Villa, live dogs, 17 to 4, plus 425. I think Villa are going to win at a big price.
Don't mind that at all. We're on the same page here. It's good.
Nice.
Finally.
First one.
I said last time out, I still couldn't have Chelsea. And I was right as Everton came away with the draw. And I faded Chelsea on that occasion. Prior bounce in all competitions. But that came after a 6-game winless streak. And the 2 league wins they had weren't great performances for me. They did play well against Dortmund. We've talked about Chelsea in the Champions League being a different prospect, and we have to sort of handicap them slightly differently to account for that. But I still think the same as you. I think we can continue to fade them here. Villa continue to be in good form. They're 4-game unbeaten streak, 3 wins and a draw. I just think they're in better form than Chelsea at the moment, and I think they're a great price to win the game. I've got them down here at 9-2, but I have gone a little bit safer. I've taken them on the double chance market, plus money still, 23-20, plus 150 for Villa on the double chance. I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, that's that would have been my bet if I was a big fanny as well. But yeah, you're on the right lines there, Baz. Next up, Sunday, we have 2 games on Sunday. The early game is 2 p.m., which is 9 a.m. Eastern Time. West Ham United against Southampton. West Ham are 13-18, minus 138. The draw 13-5, plus 260. Southampton are 4-1. Bazza, what you got for Sunday?
So 18th v 20th of the league here, both in the bottom 3. I think a lot of people would have been sitting saying West Ham are too good to go down. But they're exactly where they deserve to be at this point. And games will still, they'll start running out soon. So if they don't start picking up points in games like this, they're going to be in trouble. But I think they might struggle here. Only 3 teams have scored less than West Ham in the league. They're not scoring many at all. But what they do have on the side is a decent defensive record generally. Best defence in the bottom half. Only conceded 34 in 26 games. It's not a bad record when you consider they're third bottom in the league. And teams around them like Bournemouth have conceded 56 or something. So Southampton have got just 1 win in their last 5. 3-3 against Spurs last time out was obviously a good result, and they'll be buoyed by that. I think they hit the unders 5 in a row. Southampton before that Spurs game, and the both teams to score no had hit 5 in a row. There was a clean sheet one way or the other in 5 Southampton games in a row before the Spurs one. And the unders have also hit 6 of the last 8 for West Ham. They've got 2 4-0s in amongst that. They won 4-0 one week, lost 4-0 another week. Everything else around that was hitting the unders. So I did have a lean towards the unders at 4-5 initially. And I looked again at the money line, and I just think West Ham are too short. And plus money for Southampton to get at least a point out of this game looks decent value for me. West Ham aren't winning many games. They're not playing particularly well. Southampton will battle, and they can get something here. So coming off a good comeback win, a draw against Spurs. I mean, Southampton also had the draw against Man United. They beat Leicester recently, and there's no reason why they can't get something here. So Southampton 21-20, just a smidge over even money. Plus 105 on the double chance market. Chance for me.
You're definitely easing your way back in, Baz, aren't you, after this international break? Gentle, slowly, catchy monkey, etc. Yeah, West Ham, that 4-0 win against.
Almost everything has been plus money tonight, Malcolm, just so you know. So,
Yeah, that's all right. Good. Yeah, West Ham's only win was that weird 4-0 against Forest. The Southampton form is really hard to evaluate because they got a weird win at Chelsea, who were trying to get Potter the sack. They then got a draw against 10-man Man United, and then they came back against Tottenham, who were trying to get Conte the sack, or Conte was trying to get himself the sack. So they keep playing teams and picking up points at really good times. So I don't know how authentic it is. However, call back West Ham at that price, you'd be a maniac. They might win, but they won't be winning with my money on. I think Southampton, we've done exactly the same thing, Baz, for the second game running. I take Southampton on the money line here at 4-1, and you take them on the double chance. So yeah, one of these is going to come in, if not both. But yeah, 4-1 is just far too big for Southampton. They've been pretty lively, so I'm happy to take the 4-1 dog again. I was struggling to find some dogs early on, and then as we got towards the end of this card, I went dog crazy. 4:30 p.m. kickoff, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time is a game that we will be at, Bazza. It is Newcastle United against Manchester United. Newcastle are plus 140. The draw is so that's 7-5 Newcastle. The draw is 12-5 plus 240. Manchester United are 9-5 plus 180. Again, third or fourth game on this card, very, very tight. Baz, what are the first 3 words I've written here on my notes? You can do this, Baz.
Well, I can tell you what the first 3 words. Well, I've got 4 words.
All right.
Like it.
All right. Now the first 3 words I've written. Come on, you can do it, Baz. It's obvious.
No, mate.
No, epic fail. The first 3 words I've written down are "fuck Man United." The revenge game is well and truly on here. Newcastle playing better. Isaac is in form, has livened Newcastle up a little bit. Joe Linton's back as well from his 2-game suspension. Manchester United have Casemiro missing. Rashford is in the same boat as Haaland earlier on, and that he might have a tactical injury which kept him out of the England games. Again, I'll show my arse for a second time.
No way Rashford is injured. Fuck all wrong with him.
Yeah, 100% doesn't. I'll show my arse if he doesn't play. They made some poxy video watching it. He was training by himself the other day, running in and out of cones. Nick's in the chat saying, "Here come the black and white glasses."
You've got to be careful now because Nick's a Man United fan.
Good.
Nick he was involved in the chat last time. I had a look at him on Twitter to see where he was from. I noticed he was a Man United fan. So yeah, be careful, Malcolm.
This is completely and utterly independent and what's the word? Diplomatic handicapping, Nick. You'll thank us on Sunday when you're in the queue to pick your winnings up when your bank balance settles. Rashford will play. That's a load of bollocks. It's a late game on Sunday. It's going to be a little bit louder. It's going to be a bit more boisterous. Everyone's got time for an extra couple of pints. Newcastle could go back above them if they win. And the key piece of information here, Baz, is that I had a dream last night. We beat them 2-0. Also in the dream, I'd taken both the guinea pigs to the match as well, and they were in my coat pockets. So the accuracy of this... I'm going to have to bring them now. I've got no choice, have I? So I'll be at St James's Park with a guinea pig in each pocket. So there you go. Newcastle on the money line for me, plus 140, and the 2-0 win is 12-1. Bass.
Christ. First thing for me to say is, fortunately, all kids football. We've got nothing this weekend, so I'll be in Newcastle nice and early. So definitely out for a pre-match pint.
Beautiful.
Somewhere kid friendly because I've got the 12-year-old daughter with me. But give me a shout about where you're going to be, and we'll definitely catch up.
We go to the strip house.
She'll love all that. I don't like it, and I don't want to make a pick on it because I just don't want to. I'm more of a pessimist. I genuinely can't. I couldn't back Newcastle. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, the thing that stands out to me is the Man United price. I think almost 2-1 for Man United is a good price.
I'm surprised that they're underdogs. I must admit, when I first came to look at that.
Yeah, I think that the odds are more skewed in our favour than I expected. As I say, I can't back it at that price, but I wouldn't discourage anyone else from backing it at 2-1 almost. In fact, I'm sure you'll be able to get 2-1 if you shop around. For a team that's won 11, drawn 3, and lost only once in the last 15, 2-1 against anyone is a decent price. Honestly, I just didn't know what to do with it, so I've had to go very random, and I've been for the cards. Thinking back to the cup,
cop out. He's copped out.
I've copped out entirely. I can't do it. I just don't know what. I don't know. Honestly, if I wasn't a Newcastle fan, I would probably be tipping something in Man United's direction at the prices. But the cards, I mean, at Wembley, it was a tetchy game, plenty of needle in it. You know, cup games can lend themselves to that a bit more. So it's not to say it'll be the same game, but there was 9 cards in the fixture at Wembley. There was 4 in the reverse fixture, the 0-0 earlier in the season. Big game for both teams, this. I think Man U fans would have probably thought, and I think most of us did, that they were off and away in 3rd place, and everyone else was scrapping around for 4th. But if Newcastle can get something this weekend, suddenly, you know, Newcastle and the teams around are scrapping over the 3rd and 4th place, and there's 2 spots up for grabs, you know. So I'd like it, but we'll see. Over 4.5 cards, still a bit short, 8-11. Which one I'm prepared to ladder up a little bit, take the 5.5 and the 6.5. I get it's a complete cop out, but it's all I can do, I'm afraid, on this occasion. So give me the cards. Over 4.5 cards in the Newcastle Man United game. Joe Linton's back is always good for a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony will get kicked all over the place by Dan Burn. He'll get a card. Sam Maximan will draw someone into a foul.
Yeah.
There's cards in it. 8 to 11 for 4.5, and then ladder it up a little bit. Take the 5.5, 6.5.
Fair enough. Nick reckons Man United different team without Casemiro. Early goal for Newcastle, and the wheels can come off. Is the handicap from Nick? So yeah, fingers crossed, Nick.
Super Scott McTominay these days, and
goal machine.
Put Spain to the sword the other day. I think I might have read he might have an injury doubt as well, but who cares? I'm not too bothered about.
Oh, okay. I know he's been linked to Newcastle quite heavily in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, anyway, I don't know what to make of that, but hopefully, hopefully we get someone a little bit more exciting. One more game then, Monday night. We've got a Monday night game. The next show will be on Monday night because Meg and Baz will be out full of beer celebrating the win on Sunday, so there'll be no show on Sunday. So we'll probably do this show roundabout as the final whistle goes. It's the 8 p.m. kickoff, 3 p.m. Eastern time between Everton and Tottenham. Everton are 12 to 5 plus 240. The draw 23 to 10 plus 230. Tottenham 6 to 5 plus 120. Another game where all three outcomes are plus money. I think that's probably our fourth. It's probably a record, I reckon, Baz, for tied games. But Everton Tottenham, you've just handicapped this on the fly. So what did you get?
Yeah, I was running late and didn't want to get grief for being late again. So
he didn't want to have to say that. He didn't have to put his pound in the pot. The fine system. This is evidence working. It's working.
So I turned up here having handicapped only 9 games, and I've literally been scribbling a few notes down on Everton Spurs as we go. Everton Spurs. So yeah, it'll be quite brief. This Everton unbeaten in the last 3. Had draws with Chelsea and Forest and a win v Brentford. Spurs continue to be all over the place. 1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss in their last 3. So I started looking here at the respective home and away forms, and that's what's pushed me towards my pick. Everton with 3 wins from the 4 home games recently. All of these have been 1-0. Spurs 5 without a win now on the road. They've had 1 draw and 4 defeats in the last 5 away games. They're just terrible on the road. So I haven't got much more than that, but I just think Everton look a good price. Gone a little bit off the ladies' menu again, but Everton on the draw no bet market at 11 to 8. It's another plus money winner, Malcolm. Just take your plus money and off you go. You can laugh all you want. But yeah, Everton I think can get something at home. That the home form has been okay since Dyche arrived. Tottenham I don't think are suddenly going to turn into worse. Now that Ryan Mason and whatever, I didn't even know his name, Scalini's, I don't know, that Italian bloke, he's not going to suddenly have them firing on all cylinders. So yeah, I'll take Everton to get something. Draw no bet, 11 to 8, Everton. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you've taken Everton draw no bet, Baz, what's my bet?
You're going to take them on the money line at 12 to 5, I would imagine.
Is the exact correct answer. I'll tell you what, people think this shit happens by accident, but yeah, I didn't bring anything up to look at here. Tottenham are in complete disarray. I don't know how this Italian fella's meant to take over from his best mate, who completely and utterly hung out to dry and fired. And what's he meant to do? Walk into a press conference and say what? Like, it's ridiculous. It's an absolutely preposterous situation. And if there was one team in the league to take advantage at home, under the lights on a Monday night of a team in shambles, it's Everton. This is completely and utterly in Everton's wheelhouse. This is exactly what they'll score in the 4th minute and win 1-0. That's it, done. Easy. Everton on the money line for me. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is all 10 games handicapped. So now we get to the juicy stuff, Baz. Dogs, parlays, scorers, what you got?
We'll start with scorer. I'm going for Solly March from Brighton this week. I think Brentford game has got potential for goals. Solly March has scored in his last 3 for Brighton. I mean, the goals are coming from all over the place for Brighton at the moment. But Solly March is a decent price. There's several players. I mean, Matoma's shorter than him. McAllister. Welbeck, Undav, Ferguson. Solly March is available at 11-4. He scored in his last 3 games for them. I think it's a decent price. So that's the goal scorer for me for this week.
Okay, my goal scorer is he's the best player in the league, but it's Kevin De Bruyne. Big game player. He's the best player for Manchester City. For some reason, they've fannied about with him all season. 10-1 to score first, 100-30 to score at any time. I think he's going to get this done at the weekend. So, KDB for me. What's your dog, Baz?
The dog's a tricky one. Because I have options. I'm going to go with Aston Villa at 17-4. That was my first instinct was Aston Villa. I think Everton are genuinely worth a go potentially as well. But I'm going to go with Villa as my underdog for this week.
Okay, I had quite a few to choose from. Like I said, ended up dog crazy at the end, but I think my safest play is the one that you were on the other side of. I like Leicester here at 19-10. I just can't see why Palace would be any different. In fact, I could see them being worse. So yeah, absolutely could be wrong here, but Leicester at 19-10 for me. And parlay, Baz.
Parlay, scraping the barrel a bit this week. Really, really nothing that jumped off the page. But I've gone with a few of the picks that I've got and just trebled them up. I've gone with the best one, I think, is Arsenal in the handicap, minus 1.5 at 4-5. Both teams to score Brighton, Brentford at 3-4. And the one that you didn't like, which is Forest Wolves to go over 2.5 goals. Okay. That's 11-8, so it pushes us right up to around 13-2. 6.5-1 plus 650 for the treble. So Arsenal minus 1.5 handicap. Both teams to score Brighton, Brentford, and over 2.5 goals in the Forest v Wolverhampton game.
Okay. I've got a life changer, Baz, for everyone this week. So look at 15/Yankee. If you're a UK punter, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're an American punter, you kind of round robins and upwards, maybe. I'm going to give 4 teams out. The teams are Leicester at 19-10, Aston Villa at 17-4, Southampton at 4-1, and Everton at 12-5. The fourfold 14 parlay pays 258-1. The doubles pay 10-1 for the skinniest, up to 26-1 for the most fancy, and the trebles pay anything in between. So yeah, £1 lucky 15, 50 pence Yankee, something like that. We'll get that 258-1 winner over the line with all the 4 dogs. Baz, do you love a bit of that?
Don't mind that. I mean, I tried something similar a few weeks ago and got nowhere with it. I think I got 1 winner, 1 draw, nothing out of it. But I don't mind it. There's some good. I like Southampton. To be fair, I've gone with Villa over Chelsea. I think Southampton, and at almost a similar price, I think are probably the better shout. To be fair. I have got one more other thing I was going to put out, and it follows on from my recent foray into the EFL.
Yeah,
there was one thing that I enjoyed that hit well, and that was the Salford goals. And they play again tomorrow night, so Friday night game, Salford versus Stockport. And I mentioned I went with the goals last week. Salford have hit 6 of the last 7 have gone over 2.5, and 5 of those 7 also went over 3.5. And I mean, if you want to go further, they've got a couple that went over 6.5. Recent games for Salford: 3-1, 3-1, 4-3, 3-1. That's their last 4. Then had a 1-1, 5-2, 2-1. So both teams to score hits every week. The overs hits very frequently. They've got 1-1 draw in there. Just goals. And I looked at the price, and it's plus money again, plus 115, 20 for over 2.5 goals in that game. You look at the other side of it, I just think the Salford, and it's not because Salford are scoring loads all the time. They're just as capable of conceding. So I think I'll take the over 2.5, over 3.5s at 3-1, and over 4.5 is at 8-1. So Salford versus Stockport, goals galore. I mean, if you look at the other side of it, you'll see that Stockport managed to keep it tight all of the time. but there's no reason why. I mean, it's a big game for both teams as well. They're 5th and 6th in the league. A win probably gets them safely into the playoffs and pushes them a little bit towards the 3rd spot. Whoever wins the game might have a little bit of an eye on an automatic promotion spot. So big game. Back to goal, Stockport, Salford. Okay,
nice, Baz. Deep dive into League Two. Love a little bit of that. And that's it. Well done, everyone. Cheers for joining us in the YouTube. Like I say, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's now a $1 fine for any baseball comments. From now on, they'll go in the same pot as when Baz turns up late. Baz, thank you very much. You done?
I'm all done, yeah. I'm off to try some more egg in a cup.
Egg in a cup. I will see you on Sunday for beers, if not before.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to it. So, yeah, we'll be back on Monday. But until then, good luck with all your bets. Enjoy Newcastle beating Man United. Until Monday night, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.